this movie
Oh
did.
yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah, I'd say
appreciated that.
so.
I really
I,
appreciated that.
Another weird thing this movie does that I enjoyed, and it's not like other movies haven't done it, but it was done. I think it was done very well in this movie. We talk about, so Lavinia, she wanted to go get help on foot, and Benny's like, it's 12 miles through primordial forest.
Yeah,
Like,
I wrote that down. Yeah.
and he said something else like, and we've been out of it. We're gonna get
Ancient
lost. He even
woodland.
says that.
Ancient woodlands.
I'm sorry, ancient woodland, right? But he even said like we're out of it, like we're gonna get lost, like So yeah, both those thought processes. But we as the viewers, by the end of the movie, have been cued into a few things. The cat transformed into something interesting, right?
Yeah.
G-spot. We saw, and by the way, an 8-legged mantis come out of the well. They don't exist. With compound eyes.
Those are
So we
crazy.
saw, and it had a stinger. Remember it aggressively when Dad started coming down. It showed the stinger, but then it just flew off in a scuffle. So we know that creatures are being, and then the sheriff lost it to a murder tree,
We got to add that to
which
the list,
makes
John.
me think of our podcast episode 37, 11 cinematic trees that you don't want in your front yard.
That's one of my all-time favorite
Podcast
posts.
episode 37. That's like almost 400 podcast episodes ago. But so we know that trees, insects, pre-existing animals the alpacas are dangerously affected. So even though they don't necessarily all know that, we can't say, you idiots, why didn't you just walk the 12 miles to try and save your mom? What else were you going to do? We also see at the pan out at the end of the movie how much of the forest is affected. We know it's probably actively spreading. So this is turned into like the movie Annihilation, which is also based on Color Out of Space, where everything has become oddly dangerous.
That screaming pig. Woo-wee.
Dude, that was horrifying.
Oh, man. Hey, how about this? Before we go, let's take a quick break because, John, I got to go make some food. Do you want to know what kind of food I'm going to make?
Gosh, is it alpaca spare ribs?
I need to replenish my, I need to talk about this movie, so I need to bring my A game. So David Cross of the Award Wieners Movie Review podcast, and he's on MFF a lot. He's been on here for years. He creates hot dog recipes for each of his Academy Award winning movies. And so I had him, since we did Mandy together, we did Willy's Wonderland, he's a big Nick Cage guy, I asked him to make me a hot dog recipe for this movie. And he created, and I'll add this on the Movies, Films, and Flicks post so you can see it. He did Introducing the Color Out of Space Dog. Blackberry and barbecue, and he made this, by the way. Blackberry and barbecue sauce, glazed carrot, and parsnip that have been fused together. Served with sour cream, cabbage, because it's purple, cabbage slaw, and chips. I went heavy in the theme of purple and wanted to play with something unusual as the hot dog, befitting something out of this world. And then he put, depending on which side you bite into, you get parsnip or carrot forward flavor. So he...
Oh, like the mother or the boy.
Yeah. So he created...
His mother was chopping carrots.
Oh, it's beautiful. And he made us a Color Out of Space hot dog. So David Cross over at Award Wieners Movie Review podcast. Thank you very much. It's wonderful. But yeah, hey, let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will talk about Nick Cage picking vegetables. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. John, did Nathan ever fix that dish outside?
I feel like the first time he didn't, because he was a typical human and husband who said, I'll do it tomorrow, and then he just didn't. And then any future complaints he could have always blamed on time-space continuum issues.
I'll do it tomorrow. And then he goes and gets his bourbon. But yeah, that was funny. But I also love him watching picking tomatoes and peaches, and he's calling them beauties. And like, oh, you're ready early. And he's like, oh, they taste like garbage.
Those were some good-looking tomatoes. Those big tomatoes, man. I was like excited for him. And then even though I had already seen the movie before, I was watching this like a week or so ago. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot they were bad. It's like, oh, they look great. Like, I want to get a giant burger and put a big, like, steak-like slice of that tomato on it.
Oh, man. There's a documentary I like called Biggest Little Farm. I would like Nick Cage to go start a farm, and I would just like to watch him farm, because that would be an amazing, that'd be an amazing documentary.
Remember when they weren't good, and he's just, like, literally pegging them into the sink and the trash can in front of his wife. And she's like, "What is wrong with you?" And he's like, "Can you believe the smell?" It's always the smell. That's his, like, one of his madness afflictions, the smell. He had a lot of fun with the smell stuff.
Did you see him put the bourbon on his upper lip before he drank it as well?
Yeah, and then he rubbed it on his arm. He rubbed it on his weird, like, interdimensional rash.
He loves his bourbon. Is he like the guy from My Big Fat Greek Wedding who just puts Windex on everything? He just puts bourbon on everything?
Remember when they called him a UFO witness?
Yeah.
She said, "So were you drinking that?" And he's like, "Oh, well, like I had a little bourbon. It's pretty good. It comes out of Texas."
He shares too much. Remember when the mayor comes up to him, and he's like, "Yeah, we were getting it on." Yeah, like,
Right.
no.
It was a pretty special night. It had been a long time.
Yeah, and he's telling her that. Like, he tells her about how they were hooking up, and
he's got so many great lines.
Yeah. And it was also really cool to see Koryanka Kilcher in here from New World. It was awesome just seeing her pop up. Yeah, just seeing her pop up. But I do love that. He's like, "Yeah, we were upstairs. It's been a while. It's really." I'm like, "Nick, don't do this. Why are you?" He's definitely a weird guy in this, but he seems kind.
Yeah,
absolutely. He has huge dad issues. It seems like. She said it was the only thing that his father ever would have approved of is him moving back home.
Right. Yeah. Simple line that tells a lot.
Yeah, that was a good line in there. But he's a squirrely. But I'm telling you, all the little touches he made with the bourbon and the way he overshared, he did good work with this, and he created a character. And I think I'm glad that I had to get over myself and just think that he was just freaking out, which, it's a problem on my part. That was my mistake. But yeah, once I realized the layers and the things he did, I'm like, wow. I was kind of annoyed that I missed some of that stuff. And I also think that I've been saying this a lot, but when you put Nick Cage in the woods, good things happen. So Joe, one of his David Gordon Green, excellent movie. And he's killing trees in that, by the way. So he's a tree killer in that movie. Mandy, he's a lumberjack, so he's chopping down trees. Pig, he's hunting for truffles near trees. And then Color Out of Space, he moves to the woods and is surrounded by trees. And, I mean, bourbon comes from white oak. So yeah, he has his wood and his wood.
Did you say bourbon comes from white oak?
Well, like, I'm sorry, they age it. So they make the barley, the corn. Yeah, so virgin white. So bourbon, to be bourbon, you have to put it in a virgin white oak barrel.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then that's why they then they sell it over to sherry and scotch and everything. That's why you say like old bourbon barrels. Yeah, well, of course. But yeah, so the white oak, they use that in. But yeah, I think once you put Nicolas Cage in the woods, good things happen, John. It's like, remember in the 90s he had his prison trilogy. He had The Rock, Con Air, and Face Off, all various prisons. This one, I think he has the Woods quadrilogy. So Color Out of Space, Joe, Mandy, and Pig.
Yeah.
Nick
all
Cage.
Solid.
I like the Woods quadrilogy. So now, yeah, just put him in the woods. Next, you got to put him in a prison in the woods. Whoa.
Like No Escape.
A prison island?
You remake No Escape, and you put him in it.
I just short-circuited.
This movie's something special.
When I did the Adam Sandler movie, and I made Jacked Up, I think I might create the greatest Nicolas Cage film, and make it that.
You think you can make the greatest? It's really just going to tie an existing movie. With Pig and this in existence and Face Off, like in The Rock, I don't know how you can make a better one. Okay,
so Leaving Las Vegas, he won his Oscar for drinking, right?
Oh, God, I'm Leaving Las Vegas.
And then in Raising Arizona, he drinks. So, and he runs a lot. And in Leaving Las Vegas, he's trying to kill himself. In The Rock, they get stuck on an island, prison island. Con Air, he's in a prison plane, which is essentially an island. And Face Off, that's an island, prison.
He's in the island of John Travolta's body.
Yeah, and then the magnetic boot prison.
Oh right, yeah.
John, can I take this idea, or you want to write it?
I think you got to run with it.
All right, this is a good one. Oh man. All right. Oh, we should.
But if you do that, you need to include the best line of this movie somehow in the movie that you make. And in my opinion, that is after the meteorite lands and the sheriff and the mayor are there, and he's apologizing for the smell. And the sheriff's like, "I don't smell anything." He's like, "You don't smell that?" It smells like someone lit a dog on fire. And he's like, it's so disgusting to him. He can't even keep his composure while he utters this sentence.
Oh, that's amazing.
And by the way, have you ever used that to describe the smell of something?
This is a funny movie. And when the scene where Ward looks at his flashlight, remember when he sees all the colors and then he looks at his, is this my flashlight? There's some humor in this. Yeah. That's funny. Oh man, you picked up on some things I didn't pick up on. Because that's a funny line. Can you a dog on fire?
Like it's just so out there in a scene that's so normal early in the film too.
Oh man, John, I'm like, we created the perfect Nick Cage film. Wait, but Peggy's amazing, but he's in the woods, so that takes care of that. So this is the best possible Nick Cage movie. And he's in prison and raised in Arizona. That's where he meets.
There's a movie I haven't seen since the 80s or 90s.
Oh, I think that's my favorite Coen brother movie. It's like a live action cartoon, and I adore it. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I just want to give some props real quick to Madeline Arthur. I think she's really solid in this movie. I think and I like her relationship with Brendan Meyer, so Benny and Lavinia. I like how they insult each other. Like she calls him maggot dick and a few other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I do.
That's a hell of a line.
When I heard that, I was like, I'm writing that down. But at the end when they say it to each other, and they gave credit to Richard for writing this line, but they say that to each other endearingly at the end. It's not a mean thing towards the end. Does that make sense? They're kind of in it together, and they say that as a form of bonding. But I really like that line. There's cool family moments in here and I even like the kid, little Jack. It's a good little actor. You like him, and he gets fused to his mom. He becomes a parasitic brother thing creature.
Cyst tumor thing. He's like a living teratoma.
Oh gosh. On my notes, I wrote nightmare mom because when she just runs in on the daughter, and I just put Benny lives in the well now. That's the line that I love. That makes me so happy.
Oh yeah, he lives in the well now. Yeah, we're all here in the living room except for Benny. He's in the well now.
What a great.
What's funny is that batshit crazy Nick Cage also is drunk. I think.
Yeah, plowed.
He's holding a drink.
Oh man, I think he's in the well now. Oh, that's beautiful. And what did you think about his wine cellar, John? So you have a nice wine collection. What did you think about his? Dude,
that came out of nowhere though. When he goes down there, every time I see the movie, I'm just like, what?
That's a legit cellar.
That baffles me.
So he likes his bourbon.
I feel like
he
if
likes
they
his
just
wine.
sold that cellar, they'd solve a lot of their financial issues if they have any.
Oh. Uh-oh. We have a new wrinkle in the movie.
Well, but he just might love it though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
and she seems to like it too, though. Remember, because she says, "Oh, honey, like maybe something to go with this," and he's like, "Honey, I have the perfect thing." And then he goes down. Like I think they both enjoy that wine cellar a lot. It's not like it's just his baby.
I poured my brother some Pappy Van Winkle 20 the other day. He's like, "Why didn't you just sell this bottle?" I was like, "Why?" I was like, "I can enjoy this bottle. I don't want to sell this thing.
I'm not going to pour it for you again."
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "No." Oh man, he like closed his eyes and like he like embraced everything about that drink.
Okay,
but,
he loved it.
Yeah, but he was, because you know how much those go for on secondary markets. I mean, yeah, but it's fun to enjoy. So I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah, but I do love that the wine cellar comes into play later, and I do like that Ward Phillips lives. Like he's not a guy that you think would live, and once again in Tremors she lives too, which I love it. I like that the scientist makes it in this, and that makes me happy.
So I strongly believe that Ward died as soon as the credits started.
Oh wow!
As
really?
that eruption was coming and growing out of the ground in front of Lavinia, that was just my assumption actually, that anyone there were done, but I don't really know that. That was just like my take on it, I guess.
Huh.
But you clearly viewed that very differently than me.
Yeah, I just saw him living, and then he's talking about it like, yeah, a few people know about it. It was bad.
So he and Lavinia just become like a tentacle covered like king and queen of this forest.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That's the sequel. They can. It could be Color Out of Space versus the Hallows.
Color Out of Space, the Hallows. That's The Hallows really is like just a very grounded version
Yeah,
of what would
Irish.
happen,
Yeah.
after this.